life isn't structured to be the best strongman. And in that, I mean, I have a clothing brand. I work with multiple brands, so we have to do marketing for them. I do a lot of travel. I've got a physical therapy clinic in my hometown. I've got this medical concierge business. On. Social media, we put a YouTube video out every day. But it's to me a performance advantage, because strongman, then I'm not walking out on the floor thinking this is the only thing I have in my life. I think having a baby, having a family, having other things going on helps me dissociate and helps me relax. And so the only thing I can really do is come in healthy and as prepared as I can. And healthy is probably going to be the biggest major one this year, because I believe if I'm healthy and I execute reasonably well, it's proving to be pretty hard to beat me. So yes, that's what I'll try to do.
What would your 14-year-old self say about you now?
Oh, great question. All right, when I was 14, I was golfing, and I thought that I'd be on the PGA Tour. That was my first love. I went down to Florida. I did some work with Tiger Woods' coach. I was invited to go to a golf school down in Florida. I ultimately didn't want to do that because I thought football players would get more girls than golfers, which is kind of true, but not really. And so, if my 14-year-old self saw me now, he certainly wouldn't believe anything that I've done. At that stage, I literally hadn't been in the gym yet. I would not have known what the Arnold was. I wouldn't have known who Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall was. I wouldn't have known anything about any lifting whatsoever. But I think he would be impressed that I took the principles from when I was 14. And when I was 14, I never felt the same as anyone. And I thought that I was different. And that was both in a good way and a bad way. I really didn't relate to anyone. And I'd be proud of myself for embracing that and understanding that could be a really good thing. And that the principles of doing well in strongman or in business or in life are all the same. That you don't have to be a rock star on any day, and you don't have to feel like a rock star on any day. You just have to turn up and put in a reasonable effort every single day. And that's what I'd be most proud of.
Congratulations, Moose, on your victory, first and foremost. Do you do mobility work?
Yeah, I do, but it's very context-based and generally speaking. So for those who don't know, I have an undergraduate degree in human kinetics, a master's degree in clinical exercise physiology. My clinic is exercising people with injuries and chronic conditions. And generally speaking, I think mobility is way overrated. When it becomes very useful is when you don't have the comfortable requisite range of motion to perform a movement. So say over time, as I've gotten stronger and more muscle bound, like getting overhead has become more and more of a challenge. And so I will do mobility for, say, my pecs and my lats. But you have the continuum between mobility and stability, where the more mobile you get, the less stable you become. Where in my sport, we have to be as stable as possible, so I only want the mobility required. So the extent of my mobility at its maximum is about 10 to 20 minutes in the morning and at night for both upper body and lower body. And I'll just work through general movement patterns and just generally feel good. Then say, before I do a jerk, like to get into a squat position, I need to spend about 10 minutes on my shoulders to be able to get there comfortably. Then I'll do some lat and pec releases to be able to stay overhead well. But a really big important key is, like, say I'm bench pressing, the worst thing that you could do is stretch your pecs before bench pressing, because you're going to change the length tension relationship. And if you change the resting length of the muscle and where it wants to sit, you're going to become less powerful, less strong, less stable. And in that, ultimately can result in more injury when you become more mobile. So yes, I do mobility, but no, I don't do a whole lot. When I do mobility and I really want to focus on something, so let's say if I wanted to focus on my squat depth, it's almost a waste of time to stretch, say, your quads for 5 minutes, stretch your hamstrings, stretch on and on, because that only lasts, according to the research, about half an hour. And when they take a muscle out of the body, they stretch it, and then they leave the muscle, they notice that it lengthens for about 30 to 45 minutes. So if anyone here has ever known someone who's a dancer or something, wants to learn how to do the splits, you know that they spend 30 sessions, 40 sessions a day practicing the splits, because that's what you have to do if you want to gain mobility that way. The other way you can do it is by loading under that stretch, and when you load under the stretch and you break down the muscle fibers in a lengthened position, you're going to create more lasting change. And so I would go, okay, if I want to work on my squat depth, I'm going to do really slow eccentrics at 50% of my 1 rep max, sit in the hole for 3 seconds, so I'm changing that relationship under load while I'm damaging the muscle, and then that will make you more mobile over the long run, while retaining the stability.
So are you saying you can't golf anymore because you have lack of mobility? Is this what we're hearing?
I can go. Actually, last year I was in a long drive contest on a simulator. My best drive was 405 yards. The problem is I can only get the club about 3/4 of the way back. So if I can get it all the way, I've actually connected with the best long driver in the world. His name is Kyle Berkshire.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll shoot some content with him at some stage. But potentially that's a post strongman thing where my pecs and my back can take it. Actually, the thing that happens when I try to go is I bring the club across, but I have to work so hard to get this hand across my chest that my chest starts to cramp. I'm like, it's the most bizarre golf problem I've ever had.
Get some more electrolytes in you, big guy. We can fix that. Yeah,
That's right.
There you go. Any other questions out here?
Yeah, my favorite day is always leg day during the week, and some say I'm psychotic, but you gotta hit legs. Those people just don't like hitting legs, and I want to see what's your favorite quad workout.
My favorite what, sorry?
Quad workout.
Quad workout. Wow, what a relevant question. Thank you. I have them out for you today, just so you know. All right, favorite quad workout. It would have been leg extensions for a long time, but I'm too strong for leg extensions now where it hurts my shins before it becomes a quad workout. Have you heard of Spanish squats before? So if you loop a really strong resistance band around like a squat post, you put that behind both your knees, you stretch that out as much as you can, you hold a plate or a dumbbell, and you do body weight squats, but it's like a closed chain leg extension, where that's pulling you forward and you're sitting back into the band as you squat. It absolutely fries you. Spanish squats, look it up, it's my go-to.
Other questions?
Really good for knee health as well. For anyone with perpetual knee problems, Google Spanish squats. We could probably point to everyone in the room who exercises.
Congratulations on the win. Curious, on those days where our motivation isn't going well or you're down days, like what tools do you use to help you be consistent and get the work done?
Really good question. First of all, I don't give myself a choice on anything. On my best day, my worst day, I've got employees relying on me to turn up, so I have to turn up. I have no choice. And then exercise, it's not a thing anymore because it's my job, so I just have to do it. But back before it wasn't my job, if I even started the process of negotiation with myself of how motivated am I, just stop that right there. You go, exercise is your part of your day that you must do. Whether you think that's to train or to be healthy or whatever, that's the non-negotiable, and everything else has to work around that. And if you have a day where something doesn't get done, that's not going to be the thing that doesn't get done. And that's because ultimately I believe it's the most important thing you can do in a day. Whether you're a husband, a father, you want to be a productive member of society, you can't be that if you're not fit. You can't be that if you're not healthy and you're not strong. And one of the big challenges of stereotyping, but are you a dad? Do you have kids? Not yet. For any dads out here, anyone with family who they have to take care of, everyone always talks about this challenge of, well, I want to be there with my kids and I don't like taking time away from the people that I care about, or I can't spend as much time with my friends because I'm at the gym. Well, ultimately you have to decide for yourself whether you want to be a person who's present or a person who's respected, because over time, if you're someone who doesn't take care of yourself, even if you're there for the people you want to be there for all the time, they're going to realize that you're not someone that they want to be around, they want to be influenced by, they want to be respected in the first place. And so as a new father, but as someone who struggles to spend time with friends and spend time with my family, ultimately that's what I think about, is it's the trade-off of the time and the respect. And so if you can make it so that it's a non-negotiable time part of your day, then motivation, discipline, it doesn't exist. Because do you feel motivated and disciplined to eat every day? Well, no, not really. You just do it because you know that's a thing you have to do. Make that the same as your training, your exercise, your movement, and then it stops being something you even have to think about.
Oh yeah, you got to be disciplined, because discipline will outshine motivation every day, right?
I think I turn up to the gym wanting to train about twice a week.
Right.
And the other 3 times a week, I'm sore, something's hurt, it's a workout that I don't want to do, I know it's going to be hard. And once I get into it, it's awesome. As exercise goes, we all know that. But it's a misnomer to say that it's my profession, so that I love to do it every single time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like we always say in Mutant, like consistency, discipline always wins out, because you just have a plan, plug into your plan, and it'll carry you through even on the toughest days, because not every day you're motivated, like you said.
Yeah, and I get so many people coming up to me and saying, like, I want to do this, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be the world's strongest man. And when someone who hasn't trained much says that they want to be the world's strongest man, I know that that person will not succeed, because they're too focused on the outcome and not focused enough on the process. And if you start to enjoy the process and take pride in the discipline, then you can take pride in the results down the track. But I've won the Arnold 3 times, I've won World's Strongest Man, I've won every single strongman show. There's nothing that I'm more proud of than being able to look anyone in the eye and say that I commit 100% to the plan that I set for myself, regardless of what outcome that has. And there's nothing that brings me more joy than knowing that that's the type of person I am, and that I go through that process every single day, and the result is just an afterthought for me.
Exactly.